The Rock is under fire for unprofessional conduct on a movie set. Plus, there are no creative plans for an NXT call-up, and an ECW legend is making a TNA return this week. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. So The Rock is currently away doing some Hollywood business, but he has been very dramatically called out in a damning report by The Wrap. This is due to his alleged lack of professionalism on the set of the Amazon MGM Christmas movie, Red One. Have you heard much about Red One, Jack?
Not too much, but thankfully you've written it in the notes here.
I have written it in the notes here.
The movie is about a task force set out to save Santa Claus after being kidnapped and was due for release last year, but was delayed as a result of labour strikes last year. But despite that, Dwayne Johnson has been given a large part of the blame for what sources close to The Wrap have called a massive budgetary misadventure, which is an amazing phrase. I love that.
It's incredible. From The Wrap, production issues ranging from Johnson's chronic lateness and lack of professionalism on set to producers' inexperience caused costs on the movie to spiral upwards to a final budget of over $250 million. It's the sort of money they would spend on a superhero movie.
Yes, The Wrap go on to say, Johnson, who advocates for himself as the hardest worker in the room, it's setting up the sentence for something, has developed a reputation in the industry for his lateness and lack of professionalism on set, according to multiple insiders, who told The Wrap that Johnson showed up as much as 8 hours late to set on the movie, forcing the crew to shoot around him on some days.
The examples of Johnson's tardiness are numerous and well documented, from showing up late to fan events, which we'll touch on, to leaving entire sets idle while he was off doing 3-hour workouts.
Yep, fair
this
enough.
all comes from The Wrap, by the way. We are quoting
Yes.
The Wrap.
Johnson, they go on to say, was late an average of 7 to 8 hours a day and missed several entire days of production, ballooning costs by at least $50 million, according to 3 insiders who insisted on anonymity for fear of being fired.
It was an effing disaster, one insider said. On days when Johnson didn't show up at all, the production crew was forced to shoot around him, according to the insiders. So they've basically had this movie schedule where they've got to get everything done by a certain time, and if the guy's not there, they've got to try and do scenes that don't involve him, or scenes where you don't need his whole body in there.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit of a mess by all accounts.
Yeah, now comes the bit where you may have already seen this across the internet, because this is the bit that everyone's kind of latched onto.
I do hope it's in the thumbnail.
On previous films, The Wrap go on to say, Johnson has made a habit of peeing in a water bottle to save time, upsetting crew members. I'd be like, this is a very good work environment. I hate when Pachitti does it.
Yeah. Which is weird because his office is next to the loo. and he stares straight in your eyes as he does it.
Yeah.
On set, away from his trailer, this is Dwayne Johnson again, by the way, if he needs to pee, he doesn't go to the public bathroom. One insider who knows the movie star well said, quote, he pees in a Voss water bottle and his team or a PA have to dispose of it.
Dwayne truly doesn't give a F, one insider bluntly said.
In response to questions from The Wrap, 2 sources close to the production and one close to $7 all insisted that Johnson averaged no more than 1 hour late to the Red One set. A spokesperson for Amazon MGM denied there were any on-set issues with Red One or delays caused by Johnson's lateness or $7 inexperience, which caused the film budget to balloon.
Just a flat denial. They're the 2 contradictory stories there, absolutely. And it makes sense, I suppose.
It's worth it. Obviously, you get a right to reply. This is quite a hatchet by The Wrap. So obviously, right to reply. They're saying actually that's not the case. The article also talks about his WWE run as well.
Yeah, they say earlier this month he was 3 hours late, arriving ahead of his main event match at WrestleMania 40. 2 insiders told The Wrap. For WWE World, a WWE fan event in Philadelphia leading up to WrestleMania 40, Johnson showed up 2 hours behind schedule, drawing boos from the crowd and criticism from the local Philadelphia press. Now, we, as part of the wrestling world, we all know that story already, but it's interesting to see it used to kind of back this evidence, I suppose, given by these insiders to The Wrap.
Yeah, and we talked about that, I think, it might be the day before WrestleMania. That was one of the big stories of that weekend, because there was, obviously, he was several hours late for it, and everyone was getting quite angry and quite tense, but there was also photos that emerged, which I believe were connected, of The Rock just chilling in the car park, knowing he was already like 2 hours late, just hanging around. Whether they're connected, they were certainly shown at the time, worth pointing that out. But however, Chris Legentil, who is the WWE Executive Vice President for Talent Relations and Head of Communications. He told The Wrap, quote, Dwayne was not only on time for WrestleMania, he was hours early to help with rehearsal and a pleasure to work with throughout his entire run.
Now, that's fair enough. And we do have to remember, of course, that The Rock is on the board of shareholders of TKO and everything.
I don't know what you mean.
But I wonder if the turning up late to WrestleMania thing is quite as cut and dry as it seems. Not to doubt or side with either side of this story and everything else. But the one about turning up late to WrestleMania, it's such a long show that I imagine wrestlers would be arriving at different times. And, you know, like, you wouldn't be too surprised to learn that the main eventers perhaps showed up a little bit later on and didn't sit through the whole show, especially one as high profile as The Rock. But the other stuff does sound kind of bad.
Now, away from that, it was revealed yesterday by Deadline that The Rock has another project in the works. He and Seven Bucks Productions are currently working on a documentary for Vice TV with a spicy title called Who Killed WCW?
Yeah, Deadline say the series, which premieres on June 4th, will explore the complex factors that led to the promotion's downfall, including management challenges, creative decisions, and the intense competition during the infamous Monday Night Wars. It will feature exclusive, in-depth interviews with wrestlers, executives, and insiders, and will shed light never seen before on the personal stories and struggles of those who lived through the rise and fall of WCW. I really like that because I've read Brian Alvarez and
R.D. Reynolds.
No, he said J.D. Reynolds there. R.D. Reynolds' book, and it's fantastic.
It's a wonderful book.
It's a great insight into. I think I read it before I even worked in the wrestling sphere.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had it long before I worked here. I think I got 2 copies because I had one copy that I just ruined the spine of because I read it so many times. So I got a hardback copy of it as well.
So
it's a great book.
I hope/imagine that they will have consulted either Reynolds or Alvarez in the making of this.
You'd hope so.
And if not, I mean, it seems like we might learn some new things that have never come to light about that period of time as well.
We will find out. Now, we had the draft this week wrapping up, and we had a few names getting called to the main roster. One of those was Dijak, who was delighted. He was sat on his phone as the announcement came out. There's a lovely video doing the rounds of him tweeting, "Yo, I've just been called up to Raw, by the way."
Yes.
Looking super cool. However, according to Fightful Select's Corey Brennan, whilst he has been called to the main roster, there's nothing potentially ready to go for our boy Dijak.
No, Corey Brennan says Dijak has yet to re-sign or be approached regarding a new deal despite being drafted to the main roster. However, both sides are confident that a deal will be reached, with Shawn Michaels and Triple H both vocal supporters of the former Retribution member. He was T-Bar, of course. In speaking with multiple departments, Fightful Select also learned that Dijak's social media antics have drawn praise from the majority in NXT. I suppose because even though they're a bit inflammatory, they're not breaking kayfabe or anything. They further the product, I suppose. Yeah,
I think so. I really hope that they sign him. I really hope they keep him because I think there is so much mileage in a guy like Dijak still. I think it's with that. I think we said this yesterday with the character that he currently has. I can see it doing really well on the main roster.
Yes, I think so.
Really well. TNA rather. Got to get out of the habit of that. TNA present Under Siege this Friday on TNA Plus DAZN, and you can watch it on YouTube Insiders as well. It was announced last night on their socials that the FBI are back, baby. We've seen Guido turning up a few times.
Little Guido
turning up a few times in TNA over the past few months or 6 months or so, but he's back on Friday leading Zach Clayton and Ray Jazz, the new full-blooded Italians. They're going to have a match on the Countdown show ahead of TNA Under Siege on Friday. I love Guido.
Yes, absolutely.
He's great.
The D'Angelo family are quaking in their boots.
They should be.
They should.
They flipping well should be.
It's a pretty good card set up for Under Siege, actually.
It's a nice set. The X Division title on the line on Friday as Mustafa Ali faces Ace Austin.
That should be a banger.
That should be. Josh Alexander and Eric Young teaming up to face Steve Macklin and Frankie Kazarian. Hammerstone, who is a unit, who is tearing through the place. He's taking on Jake something. It should be a meaty match. The TNA Knockouts tag titles on the line. Spitfire defending against Masha Slamovich and her new friend Alicia Edwards.
Okay.
Jordan Grace and PCO teaming up to face Steph DeLander and Con.
That'll be ridiculous in a good way.
Yeah. And in the main event, it'll be the System taking on Speedball Bailey, Trent Seven, and Matt Hardy. Broken Matt Hardy, who we had a lovely chat with on the Cultaholic podcast feed about his plans in TNA, including the new names that he has given Speedball Bailey and Trent Seven, as well, as they are now part of the Broken Universe.
Has he revealed them on this interview?
He has,
I need to listen to find out, but I've got to guess. I'm just going to guess now. No, they're not going to be able to come up with anything as funny as what they actually are.
Let us know what you think it are in the comments down there before you listen to the interview, if you want.
Cousin Mustache. No. Sorry. Sorry.
Cousin Mustache.
Sorry. Sounds like something.
Now, yowd cum.
Yeah, sounds like something from the Addams Family. I'm sorry. I don't know what I've done there.
For the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.